Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Cyber Angel here again, doing another Cyber Angel iRant. Once again, following up on today's Jimquisition about how virtual, well, too echoey, how Nintendo's virtual console kind of really sucks. And you want to know something, Mr. Jim? To be fair, oh man, my face is red in here. I cannot get good lighting for anything, can I? Well, that's actually pretty decent. You know what, Mr. Jim? You did not make a mountain out of a molehill. To be honest, your molehill wasn't big enough because you did forget about a couple of things that I would like to talk about. First and foremost, let's talk about the Virtual Console and the 3DS. Yes, you are correct. The shop sucks to search through. The other day, I was trying to search for Zelda 2 on the Virtual Console. And so I put it in the search bar, Zelda 2, and for the most part, I got every single trailer for the Zelda game. None of the games popped up. None. So I was like, yeah, great. Now I gotta go searching a different way. I tried searching for the Virtual Console, but yeah, you can't separate them out. It's bullshit. And then let's talk about one of the big problems that I'm having with just the 3DS Virtual Console. I have the old 3DS, and so the Super Nintendo Virtual Console is completely blocked off for me. You can only get that on the new 3DS. But here's the thing. Here is the fucking thing that I have with that. Because I remember when I had the DS, I ended up having an M3 card. And I used that in order to play some emulators on them, including a Super Nintendo emulator that, for the most part, worked just fine. It just had to stretch the screen down a bit, so yeah, everything was a little bit squished vertically, but otherwise it ran fine. So I'm thinking, so it makes me think, if that's the case with something made by fans on an older system, then what the fuck, Nintendo? How come you guys, the official creators of said console, can't fucking make your emulator so it runs on the old 3DS? Why does it all have to absolutely be the new 3DS? Or is that the only way for you guys in order to make sure that it absolutely runs fine with all games? And if that's the case, I still have to call bullshit. But no. I actually would think that, they just do that in order to force a sense of value onto the 3DS, onto the new 3DS. Because let's face it, currently the new 3DS does not have enough value for it. You've got Hyrule Warriors that runs better on that one because otherwise it runs like trash on the regular 3DS. You got Xenoblade Chronicles on the new 3DS, and you got the SNES Virtual Console library. I think there's a few more, but not enough in order to make. But not enough not enough in order to make the new 3DS absolutely worth it. Now, I do know that it enhances certain games, but I certainly don't think it's enough. Like Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I don't think it's enough in order to make it worth it. But not only that, but yeah, the Super Nintendo Virtual Console is completely cut off. And I find that to be a complete atrocity, considering, the SNES, it came out in 91, 92? And right now and the Virtual Console's been out for about, I'm guessing, 3 years, so, hold on, let me do my math, 91 minus, 1990, from 1991 to 2014, it would be, someone probably already mapped it out. About 23 years. 23 fucking years. And more people are able to get emulators for your game console running on newer system, running on older hardware. More people have had more success with that than you have. For shame, Nintendo. And plus, there's the whole aspect, the fact that, the lack of Virtual Console games themselves, the fact that I understand licensing to an extent, but my only question is, who approaches who on the licensing on that? Like I remember one point I was looking for the Dragon Quest Monsters games on Virtual Console, and I was wondering, and I couldn't find them. I was wondering, well, who has the rights to those? Hmm. You know, or who approaches who in order to get those on there? I don't even think the original Dragon Quest is on there. Shit. Anyway, but the other part is the prices. Because some of those games are not worth what they're asking for. I mean, yeah, some games are good and all that, and so they might be worth the $5, but other games just aren't. They just don't have enough in there in order to make it worth it. I honestly feel, though, that one of the biggest problems Nintendo has is that their games rarely go on sale. They go onto a big enough discount in order to make it worth it, and they don't devalue their stuff well enough. Not at all. And it's tragic, honestly. Because let's face it, there's a lot of great games on the old Nintendo systems. But if Nintendo's not going to devalue them, then why should we? Then yeah, they're making piracy look a lot better. Hell, a person can get their games on the internet a lot faster than and have their emulator boot up and running by the time a game on the 3DS is done downloading and installing. Yeah, it's that bad. I could be playing Zelda 2 on an emulator. I could download the emulator, download the game, and get my controller and my graphics settings all set up. Even get the directory all set, the main folder all set up, put into the settings faster than it would take for the game to download on Virtual Console. And part of me thinks that the reason for that is because it's downloading an emulator with the game. Think about that. It means if my theory is right, then every single time you download a game, you download a Virtual Console game, it's being paired with the emulator itself. Now, this was fine back in the arcades, but not on a Virtual Console. And it's also another design problem that I've had with Nintendo. Some of their stuff are built into the software. For example, whenever you press the home button, like I remember on the Wii, when you press the home button, that was actually part of the game proper. Think about that. An action that every single game has is not part of the hardware of the console. It's part of the software of every single game. So that's space that's eaten away because they have to have this thing. Nintendo has made a lot of dumb decisions, but as far as the Virtual Console goes, I've only bought like a handful of Virtual Console games. I know two off the top of my head. One of them was Mega Man 4, and because Mega Man 4 is great, and the other one was Shantae for the Game Boy Color. Because let's face it, trying to buy a physical copy of that game is nigh impossible. Not unless you got it like $300 to $1,000. Nintendo, you really need to get your shit together. It's not just the releases, but it's just the fact that you've got stuff that you guys can't even make a better emulator. You can't make a better emulator or do a better or handle the emulation better than the pirates, better than people who make the emulators and release this stuff for free. And whenever the fans are doing better than the official source, well, you really need to take a look at yourself. I'm Cyber Angel, and I'm logging out.